Yo, what's going down, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your homie Jay Green back right now to give you my review, my thoughts, and feelings on the movie Highest to Lowest. Now, I barely heard about this movie Highest to Lowest earlier this week. I had no clue what it was, but because it was Spike Lee and Denzel Washington, you know your homie was about to swoop that ticket and show some support. And I'm here to tell you my thoughts on that film.
It stinks.
I'm not really sure what this movie was trying to be. It tried to be a little bit of everything. A little bit of comedy, a little bit of smooth swag from your boy Denzel. It tried to be a bit of a ransom film. It tried to be some action. It tried to be a film spitting PSAs at us like the entire time and giving us morals and values, but at the same time with mixed messaging based on our main character that we're following. It goes a little something like this. So, Denzel Washington is a high executive music mogul. He's like your Russell Simmons, P. Diddy, before we knew about the bad boy shit, your Dr. Dre, your Timberland, people like this. He's got his ear to the ground and he knows what's up. He's made it to the highest highs, but at this particular time that we're meeting up with him, he's kind of at some of the lowest lows. He's basically trying to buy out some shares from his music company so he can take it back over, so he can once again take back full ownership, keep his ear to the ground, and breathe life into real music and what it means to us as blacks and our culture. That's dope, right? Unfortunately, the movie is not actually about that. It's about his son getting kidnapped, and then he's got to come up with the money to get his son back. Okay, that's cool too. But then it turns into a situation where it wasn't actually his son that got kidnapped. It was his son's friend that got kidnapped, mistaken by the kidnappers, if you can believe that. So now that he realizes, oh snap, you ain't even got my son. My son's back at home with me. In fact, he's eating right now and about to go to bed. He don't want to pay that money, even though his son's best friend is actually his godson. So now we're in a quote unquote moral dilemma with this character. And it's at this point in time that Spike Lee and the writers removed me from the opportunity of having any further investment into Denzel Washington's character, wanting to follow him, liking him, and thinking that this is actually a good dude that I should be rooting for. And let me tell you why. Number one, if you're about to pay $17.5 million of them things for your son, but the kidnappers actually mistaken his best friend, your godson, for your own flesh and blood, but you love your godson as if he was your own son, and your godson's father is like a tight homie of yours that you've known for many, many years, and they are basically family to you, and now you're not willing to come up with that money that you were gonna spend moments ago for your family. That's interesting to me. I don't agree with that shit one bit, and neither do a bunch of the characters in this movie. So for that very fact, you made your main character unlikable. This guy is cold-hearted and he's not really making very well calculated decisions. Another thing that took me out of this movie was that I feel like it was too on the nose in regards to culture, black people in specific, as if it was sponsored by FUBU, for us, by us. Now, obviously, I am not against any film that is going to showcase black and brown people in a positive light, or speak truth to power in that what is going wrong in our society today and the laws, policies, and things like that that are hindering our communities. Hell no. But you got to do it right. So as a film fan, if you just throw things in and say this and say that, and it has really nothing to do with the actual story that we're watching at hand, it's going to feel extremely heavy exposition-wise on one end, and on the other end, if it has nothing to do with the story that we're watching, now I'm just kind of annoyed because I'm like, are we watching a story about a guy who runs a music company and he's trying to get his shares back so he can bring back culture to greatness? He can bring music from the ground up as he once did before? Or are we watching a movie about a guy who's trying to get his son or his son's friend back and he's trying to figure out, how am I going to pay this ransom? Or are we watching a PSA, a 2.5 hour PSA on what's going wrong in our communities? Which is it? Another thing that took me out of this film was the fact that Jeffrey Wright plays Denzel Washington's like right-hand man. And he had a life before he met up with Denzel and started working with him, right? We understand that life was probably not a good life. maybe a life of crime, and he served some time in prison. So now Denzel, being the good brother that he is helping him and his son out. And that's why that kid is his godson. This is why this is his right-hand man. All good, dope, cool. Give me that little bit of backstory. But everybody in this movie that ain't Denzel treats this dude like trash. When the cops come and they're trying to figure out the ransom situation and where was your son last seen and this, that, and the other thing, they're looking at this dude like he's the villain. And I'm wondering, why are y'all treating him like this? This makes no sense. It's one of those types of things where they suspect him, and later down the line, there's going to be some type of moment of redemption where maybe he helps out the cop that was super negative to him. Or maybe he is actually the guy that's behind the whole thing. Something like this. And it never comes to fruition in that way. So I'm wondering, what was the motivation to have everyone that's trying to help out this family and this community of close friends, if you will? What was the motivation to have these cops be so mean to him? For what? Kind of took me out of the film because I'm wondering why. Another thing that completely removed me from this movie, mentally, emotionally, logically, was pacing and believable acting. This movie starts out with some good pacing. We're following Denzel as he's trying to make these deals and get his company back. He has a great conversation with his wife where she says, look, I know who you really are. I know what you're really about. And you used to have this passion for the music. So if that's the reason why you're doing this and you're going to leverage our home and take this money and do this, dope, I'm here for it. But if that's not why you're doing it and you're doing it just about the money and you're going to be fed up with the business shortly, don't do it. I'm here for all of that. That was fly. But then when the movie switches gears and it goes into the whole ransom situation, Jeffrey Wright and Denzel, very phenomenal actors, are doing their best to hold this script, this story, this screenplay together. But the supporting cast around them, garbage. I'm sorry. There was no genuine, authentic, or believability from his wife, his son, the police officers. Ain't nobody, right? So that completely removed me from the movie. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous. In regards to the pacing of it, if you're nervous that these hostage takers are going to potentially kill your son if you don't give them the money, that means we're setting up for some action. We're setting up for a little hand-to-hand, back and forth. This movie does a terrible job at showcasing that. I honestly feel like if you want to see a really good movie with Denzel Washington trying to beat the clock and get money to deliver money, you need to watch Out of Time with Denzel Washington and Eva Mendes. Now that is a good movie. It felt lazy the way that they put it all together. The scenes felt like they were trying to make them intense, but then the pacing was super slow. And based on the way that they were trying to pace it and film it, the music didn't even fit the narrative of what they were showcasing, especially when it came to Denzel getting into some hot water on the subway where he's supposed to be making this ransom drop and then dropping the bag on accident. And then apparently the hostage takers are right below. They grab it and then they got these little mopeds and they're going back and forth, switching, trying to confuse the cops. But the cops are in no place or position to see where they're at, yet they're hot on their tail as if they have eyes on these criminals, and they don't. Makes no sense to me. So in regards to from a filmmaking standpoint, music was off, pacing was off, direction was off, nothing really fit. Didn't work for me. Another thing that took me out of this movie many of times was just character choices and logic. Denzel Washington takes $17.5 million from his company so he can pay this ransom money. Now, if you were going to take that $17.5 million to pay for your son's ransom, and you end up taking that $17.5 million to pay for your godson's ransom, when all this situation is said and done, and now the investors are coming back at you like, yo, bro, we knew you took that money. That's fraud. That's our money. We're going to need it back. And if you don't give it back in 2 weeks, then guess what? Your ass is going to jail. He's acting shocked and baffled like that wouldn't have happened in the first effing place. So he's sitting there telling one of his coworkers, yo, you know what? I'm the hustle man. I can get that money back. Don't even trip. If you're the hustle man, you can get that money back. Why are you tripping? Because now he's panicking like, oh snap, I'm finna go to jail. The logic just doesn't add up. This movie had me when it was about a black man trying to save his black-owned business and give voice to people in our culture. It lost me when it made this guy unlikable, turned into a hostage ransom action film with slow pacing, boring action scenes, and no verisimilitude in how things actually played out. And at the end of the film, when Denzel Washington finally tracks down the main villain, the big bad, the dude that kidnapped his godson, played by A$AP Rocky, who's actually given a tour de force performance, by the way. He's walking up into there, not knowing where the hell he's going. I mean, shit, even I forget from time to time what aisle the gum is in when I go to my local CVS. No doors are locked. And when he finally meets up with this dude, he don't even just straight go get him or call the authorities. He sits there in the recording booth while dude is at the microphone and they have a back and forth conversation and a lightweight rap battle. This ain't 8 Mile, motherfucker. This guy tried to kill your son. What are we doing? I bet when the writers brought that ish to Spike Lee, he was like, brilliant, I get it. He's a music mogul and he hears things. So they're gonna rap back and forth, speaking to the culture, us, through the film. Dope. No. In the end of the movie, in a saving grace moment, his son pulls out his phone and is like, yo, Pops, guess what? All of your artists, they're shooting up to the top of the charts. And it's like, why? Because this motherfucker paid the $17.5 million? What does he doing the right thing have to do with the musicians on his label? If people weren't listening to them before, why the hell are they listening to him now? What do they have to do with this? Nothing. One thing doesn't always have to do with the other. Makes no sense. Honestly, after the first 15 minutes, I was bored out of my mind. So much so that I actually took my phone out and started taking notes of what I wanted to address. Now, trust me, I am a hardcore movie fanatic. So believe me when I say I am 100% against taking your phone out in the theater. But for a movie like this, shit, bring your laptop. And this movie had like 5 different endings. Yo, Spike Lee, this ain't Return of the King. 2 of those endings out of 5 were okay. The other 3, trash. One of those endings, in fact, was A$AP Rocky rapping like it was a music video for Denzel. And then you see Denzel as his character bobbing his head and smiling. Confused. What the fuck? What are we doing? Again, when I heard this was Denzel and Spike Lee teaming up once again, let's not forget Mo Better Blues. Let's not forget Malcolm X. Let's not forget He Got Game. Let's not forget Inside Man. These are 2 people that when they come together, their collaborations are usually dope as hell. I'm not sure what happened here. When I think about the title of this film, Highest to Lowest, it's kind of ironic considering those films that I just listed, right? Those are great films. This is the lowest out of the bunch. Yo, don't go see this movie in the theater if it's showing anywhere around you, even though it's Denzel and Spike Lee, ain't worth it. And when it pops up on Apple TV, don't click on it. Not worth it. Seriously. I'm sorry. This one did not work for me. Trash.